Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I'm Giovanni and I'm an Italian artist, and this is the last part of the series where I design Pokemon for each country of the world. You can find all the videos in this playlist that I'm gonna link in the description. And before starting the video, if you want to suggest ideas for more Pokemon for this country or for others, write everything in the comments. So last time we saw the legendary Pokemon for India, and we are at the end of this journey. As I said, this is the last part of this series. We will see all the designs I made and read the dex entries of all of them. And after this, we will move to another country. Also remember to feel free to tell me if you like the names and the types I choose. So first of all, in case you don't know, India is a country in Asia and the capital city is New Delhi. And with over 1 billion and 400 million inhabitants by 2023, it will be the most populous country in the world. That's crazy. India was home to the Indus Valley civilization and a region of historic trade routes and vast empires. And 4 religions were born in this country: Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism and Sikhism. On 15 August 1937, India gained independence from the United Kingdom, but was divided into 2 independent governments between the Dominion of India and the Dominion of Pakistan. India is also home to the Taj Mahal, one of the new 7 wonders of the world. So before seeing my designs, let's see what other Pokemon could live in India. So India has some of the world's most biodiverse ecozones: deserts, high mountains, highlands, tropical and temperate forests, swamplands, plains, grasslands, areas surrounding rivers, and an island archipelago. So a lot of very different Pokemon could live there. Imagine maybe in the more green areas, Rhyhorn, Rhydon and Rhyperior to represent the Indian Rhino, Flabébé, Floette and Florges, maybe with a regional form based on the Lotus, obviously Cufant and Copperaja, since they're inspired by Indian elephant, Oddish, Gloom and Vileplume and Bellassum, and definitely also Ekans and Arbok. Maybe next to the water, Wooper and Quagsire, Lotad, Lombre and Ludicolo, Psyduck and Golduck, Ducklet and Swanna, Remoraid and Octillery, Barboach and Wishcash, and I imagine also Chuto and Dreadnought. Near the temples, I think we could find Riolu and Lucario, Pansage, Simisage, Pansear, Simisear, Pampur and Simipur. Definitely also a mouse-like Pokemon for the Temple of Rats, so Rattata and Raticate. For some reason also I imagine Audino and Beldum, Metang and Metagross, Baltoy and Claydol, Hatenna, Hatrem and Hatterin, maybe with a regional form too. In the mountains, I think Rowlet and Braviary, Onyx and Steelix, Parluan and Liepard, maybe with an ice regional form based on the Snow Leopard, and maybe also Sneasel, Weavile and Sneasler. In the desert areas, definitely Silicobra and Sandaconda, maybe also Darumaka and Darmanitan, Diglett and Dugtrio. And for some reason I also imagine Spwank and Grumpig, Elekid, Electabuzz and Electivire, Torkoal, Oricorio, Mewile and Miltank, cause cows are sacred in India. We need more cow-like Pokemon now that I'm thinking it. And for even more Pokemon, maybe suggest them in the comments. Now let's finally see all the Indian Pokemon I made. Starting with the grass starter Pokemon Plafol from Plant and Fall, the bush Pokemon Grass type. This little Pokemon can be seen hopping around the jungle looking for a twig to use as a weapon. Its playful character makes it the favorite companion of children. that evolves into Junglers, from jungle and horse, the bush Pokemon, grass and fighting types. This rather courageous Pokemon stops at nothing. After finding the perfect stick, it enters the jungle without any fear. Its being strong and brave makes it a lover of fights, that at the end evolves into Aragnalion from Aragnani and Stallion, the bush fighter Pokemon, inspired by Hindu goddess of forest Aragnani, so grass and fighting types. This regal Pokemon is capable of connecting with nature, which recognizes it as its master. Being a close-knit fighter and its tough breaks, it fixes with vines and herbs. Moving to the fire starter Pokemon Fusumb, from Fuse and Lamb, the incendiary Pokemon, fire type. This little Pokemon is often the inadvertent cause of fires on the farms near which it lives. It has a humble and calm behavior that evolves into Flamip from Flame and Ship, the incendiary Pokemon, fire and psychic type. This Pokemon has psychic abilities, which combined with pyrokinetic ones are the main causes of fires. Although calm, at times anger pervades his mind, that at the end evolves into Agniram from Agni and Ram, the fiery Ram Pokemon, inspired by Hindu god of fire Agni, also fire and psychic types. When this Pokemon get angry, its magical fire spread mercilessly. However, through meditation in places of worship, it can calm down and stop its fury. For this reason, is the favorite companion of the monks. Reaching the water starter Pokemon, we have Splash from Elephant and Splash, deep water Pokemon, water type. This Pokemon lives in the bottoms of river, hunting its prey at night. Its main character strikes fear into people. It evolves into Krileganj from Crocodile, Elephant and Gange, the deep water Pokemon, water and dark types. This Pokemon, capable of controlling shadows, lives in the depth of rivers, from which it comes out to the shore only to hunt. People tend to stay away from it. That finally evolves into Varukara from Varuna and Makara, the deep beast Pokemon, inspired by Hindu god of rain Varuna, also water and dark type. This Pokemon has always frightened the population who, to appease its hunger, offer it food in exchange for mercy. People avoid this Pokemon to not make it angry. So let me know which one would you choose, and now let's see the Indian regional form of existing Pokemon. Starting with Indian Drowsy, the Fakir Pokemon, dark type. Indian Drowsy are quite rambunctious Pokemon. They love to wander around at night and scare people. Despite this, they can be gentle if treated with kindness and respect. It evolves during day, maybe by learning a specific psychic move, into Indian Hypno, the Fakir Pokemon, inspired by Malaysian Tapirs and Fakirs, dark and psychic types. When an Indian Drowsy reaches inner peace, it looks for a pole to sit on, to meditate, thus evolving into Indian Hypno. This Pokemon no longer seeks revenge or anything else, but prefers to avoid fighting and meditate alone. Then moving to actually a convergent species, we have Sinisala from Sinistea and Masala, Masala Chai Pokemon, fire and ghost types. It seems that Sinisala is born from spirits that dwell in old teacups, warming the souls of those who treat them with care. It evolves into Polsalaggeist from Poltegeist and Masala, the Masala Chai Pokemon, inspired by Masala Chai, also fire and ghost type. When Sinisala overeats too much, it seeks a home in an ancient and preferably colored teapot, thus evolving into Polsalaggeist. The large amount of heat it tires it, to the point that it prefers to sleep inside the teapot. Then we have Indian Poliwag, the tadpole Pokemon, ground type. The little Indian Poliwag grow in the mud, which they play with and eat when they are hungry. It evolves into Indian Poliwhirl, the tadpole Pokemon, also ground type. It seems that when an Indian Poliwag eats too much mud, its body grows so much that it evolves into an Indian Poliwhirl, which wears massive gloves just for aesthetic. That with a water stone, it evolves into Polyne, from Poly and Henne, The frog Pokémon, inspired by purple frogs and henna art. Ground and water types. When an Indian Poliwhirl comes into contact with a water stone, it evolves into Poliwhirl. This large Pokémon plays with mud, sometimes unfortunately causing large floods. Its body decoration inspired people to decorate their bodies for special occasions. Moving to the next one, we meet Indian Bunsweet, the fruit Pokémon, just grass type. The little Indian Bunsweet loves to jump and dance in residential areas. It evolves into Indian Steenie, the fruit Pokémon, grass and fighting types. Indian Steenie love to decorate their bodies with clothes and jewels from the place where they live, enlivening the squares with dances. Finally evolving into Indian Tsarina, the fruit Pokémon inspired by mangoes and Indian traditional dances, grass and fighting types. Indian Tsarina are skilled dancers and fighters, loved by trainers who are fascinated by their movements. Moving to my absolute favorite Pokémon ever made, we have my beloved Indian Sandshrew, the mouse Pokémon, just normal type. In the past and unfortunately still today, the Indian Sandshrew are hunted for their scales, which has led these species to have to hide from humans, making them quite difficult to approach. It evolves, I imagine, in a very bad circumstance into Indian Sandslash, the ex-mouse Pokémon, inspired by Indian pangolins, normal and ghost types. It is said that when an Indian Sandshrew dies, its body comes back to life, evolving into an Indian Sandslash and hunts those who took its scales in revenge. Now moving to the last regional Pokémon, we have Indian Hariyama, the Harm Trust Pokémon, inspired by Katakali, fighting and steel types. The iron skin of Indian Hariyama is a tough armor that the Makuhita have earned through hard fighting. Over the centuries, these strong and powerful Pokémon have been seen as fighting spirits. So these were all the original Pokémon I made. Let me know which one you prefer and which other existing Pokémon should have a new form. Now let's see the new Pokémon for India. Starting with the little and cute Nazarit from Nazar and Spirit, the spirit Pokémon, psychic and dark types. These mischievous, I never remember how to pronounce this word. These mischievous little spirits love to wander around at night. The eye medallion at the end of their tail is the source of mystical powers capable of banishing bad luck and the evil eye, or causing it. It evolves into Kalidemam from Kali, demon, and Mam, the demon Pokémon, inspired by Nazarbatu and the Hindu goddess of war Kali, also psychic and dark types. In the past, Kalidemam were powerful warrior beings, feared by the people because of their dark psychic powers. Today, they can rarely be found at night, but you have to be careful and not annoy them, otherwise they could cast an evil eye on you and torment your life for eternity. The next one is Aptus from Apsara and Lotus, the rock lotus Pokémon, water and rock types. Aptus are gentle Pokémon who love splashing in puddles. Although they look like plants, they are actually made of rock. It evolves into Lopsaras from Lotus and Apsaras, the rock nymph Pokémon, inspired by Lotus and Apsaras, also water and rock types. Lopsaras are considered spirits of the springs. Their elegant wrinkled rock bodies contain a particular healing water which over the centuries has made them the favorite Pokémon of royalty. Then we have Wormlu from Worm and Blue, the blue worm Pokémon, bug type. These little Pokémon are born on trees from which they then accidentally fall and try to climb back up without too much success. It evolves into Konavun from Cocoon and Navi, the blue cocoon Pokémon, bug and psychic types. When Wormlu gets too tired, it closes into itself and evolves into Konavun, capable of floating and thus finally climbing back up the tree. At the end, it evolves into Blue Papilio from Blue, Buddha, and Papilio, the Blue Buddha Pokemon, inspired by Papilio Buddha butterflies, also bug and psychic types. These majestic Pokemon learn to fly and use their magic dust and psychic powers to help Pokemon and humans in need. Then we have Chinkava from Chinkara and Hava, the speed Pokemon, normal type. The little Chinkava love to wander around the fields, being dragged on windy days. It evolves into Monsuzel from Monsoon and Gazelle, the Monsoon Pokeball. The Monsoon Pokemon. Inspired by God of Wind Vayu, normal and flying types. It is said that when Chinkava learns to ride the wind, it evolves into a Monsuzel. This regal Pokemon dominates the sky, jumping and running and bringing storms with it. Then we have Karkalans from Karkadan and Lance, the armored horn Pokemon, inspired by Karkadan, steel and fairy types. Ancient explorers from the west were fascinated by the uniqueness of these Pokemon, who, if in danger, fought hard with their strong spears. And the last two are Carapatior from Carapax and Meteor, the Meteor Pokemon, fire and rock types. This Pokemon gives off heat to the point that it can manipulate the gravity surrounding its body, thus allowing it to float. It evolves into Novartura from Nova and Tortuga, the supernova Pokemon, inspired by the Hindu god Kurma, fire and rock types. This mighty Pokemon can often be spotted at night, sailing through the starry sky mistaken for a shooting star, or exploding their fiery bodies, thus generating powerful heat waves. So these were all the new Pokemon I made. Let me know which one you like the most. And now we are moving to the legendaries. Starting with the first legendary, Ganati, from Ganesha and Hathi, the fortune elephant Pokemon, inspired by Hindu god of fortune Ganesha, psychic type. Legends tell of Ganati, the legendary Pokemon of luck, who with its power who with its powerful axe blesses the wise and the pure of heart. Together with its sibling, it is the ruler Pokemon of the spiritual and material worlds. The second legendary is Kartikayura from Kartikeya and Mayura, the war people Pokemon, inspired by Hindu god of war Kartikeya, fighting type. Legends tell of Kartikayura, the legendary Pokemon of war, who with its quick spear punishes the wicked and the impure of heart. Together with its sibling, it is the ruler Pokemon of the spiritual and material world. So now we are moving to what I called the Universal Weapons Trio. The first member is Shivaya from Shiva and Prayer, the destruction weapon Pokemon, dark and fighting types, inspired by Hindu god of destruction, Shiva. Known in legends as the legendary Pokemon of destruction, Shivaya is the one who rules the universe with his shadow trident. Together with his two brothers, he is part of the Universal Weapon Trio. Then we have Brahayer from Brahma and Prayer, the creation weapon Pokemon, psychic and fire types, inspired by Hindu god of creation Brahma. Known in legends as the legendary Pokemon of creation, Brahayer is the one who rules the universe with his fire scepter. Together with his two brothers, he is part of the Universal Weapons Trio. And the last one is Visnayer from Vishnu and Prayer, the preservation weapon Pokemon, normal and flying types, inspired by Hindu god of preservation Vishnu. Known in legends as the legendary Pokemon of preservation, Visnayer is the one who rules the universe with his wind mace. Together with his two brothers, he is part of the Universal Weapons trio. So these were all the legendary Pokemon I made. Let me know which one is your favorite. So this is the end of this video. I really hope you liked it, and as I said, you will find all the videos of this series in the playlist I link in the description. As I said earlier, let me know if you have any ideas for more Pokemon for this country or for others. As I said, this is the last video of the Indian series, but next time we will move to another country. Tell me in the comment what country would you like to see. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and so please put a like, a comment, subscribe. Also check out my Instagram profile, Giovanni Piccoli, with a 4 instead of the A. And I think I see you next week with the starting of the new Pokemon inspired by the World series. Bye everyone.